Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And for some reason in 2025, we're going to talk about Rian Johnson and The Last Jedi.
Well, I don't think he'll stop talking about it.
This is definitely his claim to fame at this point. Now, he has done the Knives Out movies, but really everybody associates Rian Johnson with the one Star Wars movie he did, but it was incredibly important that he did that movie because it pretty much destroyed the franchise.
Well, I was going to say he's remembered for destroying Star Wars because you can trace everything.
Oh, yeah.
Back to, where it fell off the rails and where it completely broke the fandom in half. And, I'd say like a third or 2/3. And all that was The Last Jedi.
Yeah, so let's talk about Rian Johnson saying that Star Wars should not be handled with kid gloves. It needs to be shaken up, and I think the baby has been shaken vigorously because the franchise is no longer with us. It has become a force ghost.
Yes, shake it up my ass, Ryan. There's a comma in there.
Sounds like a song. Shake it up my ass, Ryan. There's a comma there. Shake it up my ass. All right, are we gonna talk about this? Let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
Go out to more.clownfishtv.com. That's more.clownfishtv.com for more Clownfish TV. We do what we say on the tin, as they like to say in the UK. So, Rian Johnson said Star Wars needs to be shaken up, much like what he did on The Last Jedi.
Wait, he's saying that now?
Yes.
No, it doesn't. The fact that they keep shaking it up is what the problem is. Let's look at this, Ryan. So The Last Jedi fundamentally broke everything because you had everything handed to you and you tied up most of the storylines, and then just who's Snoke? Doesn't matter. What's this? What's that? Doesn't matter. And you just threw everything into to the air like the lightsaber he tossed behind him. Called it a day. And then from we went down the show route. But the Mandalorian season 3 they effed that up. Then Boba Fett wasn't Boba Fett, and Obi-Wan Kenobi somehow is about little Leia now, which makes no fucking sense. It's like they've tried shaking it up, Brian. And that's why it's drooling and it's incoherent now.
It's been shaken very badly. Anyway, the third Knives Out movie is on Netflix. I guess is doing really well on Netflix. But this comes from World of Real. It said, we all know how the story goes. Abrams' Star Wars The Force Awakens was a safe, nostalgia-fueled trilogy opener in 2015, which resulted in a massive hit for Disney and set up a template for Johnson to take over in the second film, The Last Jedi. They had no plan. They just let him do whatever the hell he wanted to. Despite strong critical reviews, Johnson throwing himself into risk-taking with unabashed glee, dismantling familiar lore and themes, and committing to rather bold creative decisions, it backfired with the fan base. Off with his head, they said. Speaking to Polygon, oh boy, Johnson continues to defend The Last Jedi, and not only that, he argues that for Star Wars to succeed, it must take the very kinds of risks he took. Backlash be damned.
Okay. Ryan, I know maybe you weren't very good in school. If you have a 2 and then you subtract 4, you have a -2. It's not, and then Disney is now like a -100 because of the risks like you, Ryan. So yeah, let's go do more of that. I don't think so. What little fans you have left, you're just going to hit him with a shovel and then put him in the ground and call it a day?
Yeah. Knives Out, bitches.
Knives Out's his own thing, so whatever,
Oh yeah, that does. Yeah. So this is what he said. Here's his quote. He said, "Having grown up a Star Wars fan, I know that thing where someone or something challenges it, and I know the recoil against it. I know how there can be infighting in the world of Star Wars, but I also know that the worst sin is to handle it with kid gloves. The worst sin is to be afraid of doing anything that shakes it up, because every Star Wars movie going back to Empire and onward shook the box and riled the fans." Yeah, Last Jedi shook the box office. It shook all the money out of the franchise.
It shook all the people out of the seats and never came back.
It got them angry, it got them fighting, and it got them talking about it. And for a lot of them, it got them loving it and coming around on it eventually.
No, but the difference is they came around eventually, and it wasn't to the extent of his movie.
So here's the difference too. Empire divisive when it first came out? Yeah, it actually was. I was going back and checking some of the old fanzines, and there were people who were like, yeah, there's only one Star Wars movie. There's not any sequels. I think it's stupid. The whole, Luke, I am your father. Oh my God, guys, we spoiled it. There were people that were angry, of course. The difference is that was George Lucas's story, and it's easier to shock an audience when you're only 2 movies in or 3 movies in. When the franchise has been around for decades and it's not yours, you really do have to handle it with kid gloves.
I'm just looking at this. Well, one, I was a fan for a long time. If you were a fan for a long time, I don't buy it because of the choices you made and the way you ruined Luke. And you have to rattle it to get them angry, to get them fighting, to get them talking about it, because they'll come around eventually. Except no one's coming around, Ryan. And it didn't help when you sat there with a mug going, "Man, baby, tears," and you go around going, "You like the movies that subvert expectations." Basically, what I'm hearing is movie failed, and instead of taking responsibility for completely fucking up Star Wars, which you did, even Disney knows you did, which is why I don't think you're getting any movies. You're sitting there like, no, I did the right thing because they'll come around eventually. They're not coming around, Ryan. Everybody literally stepped over it. People wish they would just scrape the sequel trilogy off the shoe and just like pretend it didn't even happen.
Yeah, and there was no putting that genie back in the bottle either, because I mean once he tied off everything with The Last Jedi, like they had to undo it with the third movie, and the Colin Trevorrow script was much, much better. And I don't know why they didn't do that one, but yeah, they just tried to walk a lot of the stuff back, and you couldn't do it. So they had to spend the first part of Rise of Skywalker walking Johnson stuff back. I'm like, couldn't you guys have figured this out before you started making that movie?
Yeah, I don't understand it. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. There was no plan. And like the kid gloves is like bullshit. No, it's called respect, not kid gloves. It's respecting the lore, respecting what came before, and trying to make sure that it fits, and respecting the fan base that made it big and gave you this opportunity to begin with. It's about respect, which Ryan has shown time and time again. He has none.
Yeah, I mean, he's, I'm not going to argue whether or not he's a good director. Obviously, like you said, with his own stuff, he's fine.
He's not bad, but the thing is, when you're doing a franchise,
middle of a trilogy.
Ryan's very much so the one who wants to go and piss all over it and say it's his. He's the type. He's a type that annoys the hell out of me. But basically, when you are the custodian, a temporary custodian of a franchise, and you're like supposedly doing like either maybe a comic book, a TV show, a movie, or whatever, and there's a dedicated fan base that's attached to it, and it's a big deal because it has a lot of people love it, you have to treat it with finesse. You have to treat it, with respect. You have to treat the fans with respect. You have to tell the best story you can, and you can do new things as long as it stays within lore, and as long as you don't disrespect beloved characters like Luke Skywalker. But they didn't do that. He didn't. He just like, it's mine now, bitches, man, baby tears. Psst. It's a piece of art. It's beautiful. It's a piece of shit. You came out the wrong end.
He definitely, I think, had the intention of pissing people off when he went into it. I just don't think he.
I think that's all he ever wants to do, because the only attention he gets is when he pisses people off.
Well, okay, so this was in 2003. He did an interview about Brick. That was his debut film, and he said, "I'd be worried if everybody across the board was like, yeah, it was a good movie. It's much more exciting to me when you get a group of people who are coming up to you who really hated it." Well, you got what you wished for, right? I mean, this is Star Wars. This is like the Holy Grail, and you're just like taking a huge.
No. See, this isn't true. This is basically, I meant to do that. That's what that is. It's like, it's more exciting when people hate it. And I don't buy that, Ryan. I think it's because you done fucked up repeatedly on this stuff and people aren't going to like it. So you're like, instead of owning it, I mean, it could be the best thing ever. There's people who aren't going to like it. Right. Instead of owning it, you're just like, wow, I love it. It's exciting to me. It's like when, the choke yourself challenge, when you're choking yourself and you try not to die.
I'm sorry, that sounds like something else. Like,
no, that's what I said. The ones where you're
chicken choking challenge.
You're like trying to asphyxiate yourself while you do it. Then that one guy, then people die over it. That's.
Can't say I've ever been interested in doing that.
I didn't say you're interested in it, but you know what I'm talking about. It's like that. It's like, he's too busy trying to, do what makes him happy. He's not paying attention to what's going on around him. And next thing you know, he offed himself. And then, his ghost is like, it's everybody else's fault.
I was stupid.
I mean, it makes sense in my head.
It's kind of like the Stardust movie where the brothers, they all die stupidly.
Yeah, because they want to off each other, so they want to be the king, and they all kill it. Then they're all dead at the end because they're dumb.
Yep.
Yeah, but I'm just like in this one, it excites me if people hate it. It's like it excites me if I'm killing myself while I'm doing it, but then I might be dead.
So here's the thing. He definitely force choked the brand. You can't. I mean, I guess you could point to him and blame him for everything, but he was allowed to make this movie, and you can't tell me that at some point in time somebody didn't raise some concerns and be like, "Hey, yeah, I don't think people are going to like sad sack Luke Skywalker, especially since we got rid of the EU where he wasn't that." But the toy sales have dropped off a cliff. The Disney Plus shows have dropped off a cliff. I mean, it's all just like Star Wars is basically a dead brand at this point.
The same Rey Skywalker figures that have been on the shelf at Ollie's for years are still there.
5 years. Yeah, at least 5 to 6 years that I can remember. And they were probably sitting someplace else for years before that.
And no one's buying them at all.
No, there are Force Awakens Rey figures on the shelves at Ollie's. If you go today, get in the car and go to Ollie's, chances are very good you will find a Rey figure from 10 years ago on the shelf with a layer of dust. And she's only $2 or $3 now, and nobody wants it. Mm-hmm. Nobody wants it. And Force Awakens figures. Now, the Force Awakens stuff actually did sell pretty well. If I remember correctly, it sold pretty well after the first movie. And they had like the play sets and all that stuff. And then when The Last Jedi came out, you could see like, okay, yeah, these toys aren't going to sell. And then by the time Rise of Skywalker came out, they hardly made anything for that movie.
Well, yeah, because I think like was it Hasbro? They don't want to make this stuff. Like they're doing collector level stuff. But they're just like, I don't want to even bother because we're losing so much money. We're losing our shirts on this deal.
It's so weird to see, though, because when we were kids, the thought of Star Wars toys rotting on the shelves 10 years after the fact it was inconceivable. Mm-hmm. It was not something that happened. I mean, you'd see them on clearance occasionally. I remember KB Toys had like the 2-packs where they were trying to get rid of them toward the end of the line. And then they had like some of the Ewoks figures and stuff were on clearance. And if I'd bought those, man, I'd be rich now.
If you bought those, your wife would be happy, but that's a whole other story.
Yeah. But the Power of the Force figures, they were kind of on sale.
Yeah, I remember those. Yeah, and they were the more valuable ones.
But you are not going to find vintage Kenner Star Wars stuff on the shelves in the early 90s. It wasn't going to happen. And this stuff is just rotting. Yeah, it's crazy. But I don't think Mandalorian is going to do well either. I mean, basically everything took a hit because all roads lead to The Last Jedi and sad sack Luke, and nobody wants it.
Well, it wasn't just that. That started it. Then they told everybody else that they were wrong and they were bigots and they hate women and all the other bullshit, idiotic narratives. And then they got The Mandalorian going, and it was like, okay, this isn't bad. And they did good, and they got a strong female character done right, but they had to fire Gina Carano because, people at Lucasfilm were mad and cry harder, I guess, and everything else. And that blew up in their faces. And then they get to Boba Fett, ruin Boba Fett. Then they get to Obi-Wan, and then they ruin it because they make it about a new character, Reva, no one's ever heard of, and baby, or like little Leia, not baby Leia, little Leia, which made no fucking sense whatsoever. And ever since then, each show has gone further. And then the Acolyte, don't even get me started. Each show has just gone further and further and further down the shithole as far as viewership goes. People keep tuning out because they keep taking risks and being stupid. The Acolyte was a big risk. Didn't do shit, did it?
Yeah.
Don't listen to Ryan.
Don't listen to Ryan. So they were talking about how he's probably never going to get his trilogy. Oh, well.
Well, if you love God, don't give him his trilogy.
And this is actually on the official Star Wars subreddit from, a year ago. People were like, yeah, I'm just not feeling it anymore. I was so excited, and it just feels like everything's going to shit now. Yep. And I'm shocked that they're allowed to post this on the official Star Wars subreddit because, if you were negative at all, if you had any issues whatsoever with Disney Star Wars just a couple of years ago, you were like a literal Nazi. You were practically Hitler. It was so weird. And it's over. I think everybody knows Star Wars is cooked at this point. So whatever. Everybody's moving on, right? Except for Rian Johnson.
Yeah, he's got to keep getting in there. I think he thinks maybe they'll change their mind at Disney. You're just proving why they're not changing their mind every time you open your mouth.
Yeah. So we're going to wrap this up.
Yes.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.